Hello, everybody. Michael, that's Title Guy here. I just wanted to introduce a new series that I'm doing, which is going to be called Behind the Escrow Curtain. And in this series, I'm going to be sitting down with East Bay escrow officers to give them the opportunity to share about themselves, about the experiences they've had, and kind of give you guys a sneak peek about what actually goes on here in escrow. All right, I'm joined here today with two rock stars. The first being a senior escrow officer, branch manager, and operations team member, Lisa Brazil. And I'm also joined today with Dawn Nugent, who is the Fremont sales executive.
Hi, my name is Lisa Brazil. I've been with Old Republic Title for 34 years. I currently manage our Fremont escrow. Hi, my name is Lisa Brazil. I've been with Old Republic Title for 34 years. I manage our Fremont office, and I'm a senior escrow officer in our Pleasanton location, and I'm also a member of the Alameda County escrow operations team.
Hi everyone, my name is Dawn Nguyen, and I am a sales executive out of the Fremont office. I've been with the company for around 4.5 months now, and I'm super excited to kind of be a part of this interview with Miss Lisa here.
Action.
Hi everyone, I am Dawn Nguyen. I am the sales executive out of the Fremont office. I've been with the company for around 4.5 months, and I'm super excited to be here interviewing Lisa as well.
And as you know, Michael, the Title Guy. My name is Michael Barbier. I work for Old Republic Title Company, as you can see. I represent both Pleasanton and Livermore offices, 7 different escrow teams, and I'm just super excited and thrilled that I have two rock stars here with me today. We're really going to dive into the details, and I think it's going to be a fun way for you guys to get to know us, and again, for you to see behind the curtain. So like I said, we are so blessed to be joined today by Lisa Brazil. Lisa is an expert who's been in the industry for what, 34
That's
years.
it.
Yeah.
So we just had some questions for you because again, you're just a wealth of knowledge and you've had so much experience throughout your career here. So the first question that I had for you today was, how has the escrow process changed over the last 30 years?
So the escrow process itself has not technically changed. It's how we view and do our business that has changed.
Okay.
We're still, being forefront on communication, detail oriented, connecting with our clients, connecting with the buyers and the sellers. The part that has changed, obviously, is we're no longer paper driven.
It's true.
The paper is
Yes.
gone. When I started this 34 years ago, everything was carbon copy, believe it or not, on a typewriter. Yes. And we all had to wait for one DOS machine in the back room to do anything. So once email came along, of course, that simplified the process and made our jobs a lot easier, which allowed for us to be out there with the clients and connecting more with the buyers and the sellers.
Awesome. I'm sure that it's a great change
Yes.
in comparison.
It has been,
Yes.
yes.
I think we're saving a few trees, wouldn't
Yeah.
you say?
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anything we can do to kind of help, right?
Yeah.
And I know, especially with organization, I could only imagine the absolute mayhem that was going on in escrow offices
Yes.
and having to weave through files. And I can't even believe we used to do business like that, to be honest
No,
with you.
neither can I. I mean, our day consisted with, you knew what your day was going to look like by the amount of Federal Express packages we got in, because
Yeah.
that's how the loan documents were sent.
Right.
So I get the next question, Lisa. Card, what
Right.
surprises new agents? Then you can do that. So
I
we can
like
cut
that
it off,
idea
yeah.
too.
Because we can cut each one to a different video. We
Right.
can do that too. So let's play it by
Let's do both.
yeah.
Let's do both. So,
Okay, so
for this
which way are
next
we going
one,
first?
Dawn, you do it, and then we'll just roll it into the next one. And if we like it, we like it. We can always cut it, like you said.
Okay.
I think that's
Cool.
a good way to do it. Maybe that's the way we should do for all of it. Is just kind of.
Oh, is it recording?
Okay,
We'll
cool.
feel it.
All right, Dawn, ready?
Recording it.
Go for it.
All right. So I have the next question, okay? And it's a good one. What surprises new agents about escrow?
Honestly, the whole process. Most new agents clearly haven't had too many of their transactions go through escrow yet.
Mhm.
And I think they just don't understand the magnitude of the part that we play in it.
Right.
So I feel like they're kind of surprised by the information that we need, how the process runs, why it's not instant gratification, and how we bring it all together in a little package to hand
Yes.
the property off to their buyer.
Yes, 100%. It's not all just paperwork. There's a lot that goes behind the scenes. Wouldn't you say, Michael?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the funniest thing, honestly, about it is why this is so important. Right?
Mhm.
You want to make sure as like a new agent, you're working with someone who has years of experience.
Yes.
So that way they have the opportunity, right? They have the opportunity to actually learn how the process works from start to finish. I mean, I can only speak for myself here, but I usually learn things by doing them. And I'm sure a lot of the agents feel exactly the same way. So that was a great question, Don. So I'm going to move to the next one. What are the most common misunderstandings real estate agents still have about the escrow process?
I think the biggest misunderstanding is the part that we play and what our responsibility as the escrow facilitator is. A lot of them don't have transaction coordinators, so they rely on us to do some of that work, which is not in the realm of our, our scope of our responsibilities, and we technically can't. So that's one of the biggest misunderstandings. The second one I would say is assuming we know.
Right.
We don't know what we don't know, and we really need to be informed throughout the whole transaction.
I mean, that's probably one of the most challenging parts about being the neutral third party is, we also need to be in the know. And I feel like in that regard, we even need to be in the know even more so.
Yes.
Because we're trying to just juggle so many different people and so many different processes all at the same time. Like I said, I don't know how you do it, to be honest, especially for 34 years.
It takes a village. It takes a strong team.
That's pretty crazy, but I love that question. If you want to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll do the next question. It kind of ties back to what you mentioned earlier about things have changed over time.
Yeah.
So what parts of the transaction have improved most because of technology?
I would say being able to communicate more intimately with our clients when we're doing. Hold on, Pam. Just
no, it's okay.
Sorry.
Oh,
I thought you were talking.
No, we can honestly we can totally edit this out. We can just keep it rolling.
So what?
Keeping rolling. Go ahead.
All right. So next question. It kind of ties back to what we mentioned earlier about the different changes that have had. What parts of the transaction have improved most because of technology?
So that would be definitely communication with the clients. To be honest with you, with having more technology to be able to process the transactions faster, smoother, cleaner. It allows us to communicate more intimately with our clients and really get to know them better. So it's actually been a blessing for sure.
Yes.
I love that. I think, again, communication is always going to be key in these types of things. And I think, honestly, getting the opportunity to connect more with the buyers and sellers, I think, is almost the lost art of this.
Yes.
I think just from my own perspective, in the industry, sometimes people get lost in, is this a transaction? No, this is an experience for buyers and sellers. And for some people, it's the biggest purchase they're going to make in their entire lives.
Yeah.
So I love that we're kind of being there for our clients and kind of giving them the opportunity to share their story too, because it's a lot of stress on them too.
Yes,
right?
It absolutely is.
It's not
very
just us,
stressful. Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you another one here, and this one it could be a fun one if you have any funny stories of anything recently. But what are some things that agents still get wrong to this day? Like maybe somebody that you work with for a long time, but for whatever reason they just can't get this one thing down.
You're going to hear me say this over and over and over today. Communication. One of the biggest things that, we don't know if one of your parties is deceased. Right. We don't know if one of your parties is overseas. We don't know that, it's a mother and son buying, not a husband and wife. So one of the things is definitely communication. The more we know, the better. And to follow up with that, escrow is always the last to know when we should be the first to know.
Yes.
If you're going to move your close of escrow up by 2 weeks, it's very important that us as the escrow holder knows this little tidbit of information because we outline our processes based on closing dates. There's a little process that we take. So if anything's moved, we need to make sure we're moving along with that timeline.
Right.
Yep. That reminds me of a quote I use all the time. Help us help you.
Exactly.
So collaborate.
Yes.
Okay. The more information you guys can give us, the more you can tee us up,
Yeah.
the more we'll expedite and get the file closed for you.
Exactly.
Right. And we just want a smooth process for everybody.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
I feel like sometimes people think like we're holding it up. It's like, no, we're not holding this up. We want this to be as smooth as possible for everybody. So I love
and it's not that we can't do it.
Right.
It's that the agents don't see the behind the scenes on how our whole processes shift and then it's go mode and we get it done for you every time. But it's nice to have a little bit of breathing room.
No, I totally understand that because again, I know there's a lot of pressure with this business from agents to us to the the lenders. Everybody feels the pressure, especially at the 11th hour. So I can totally understand. Again, let's all be friends here. Let's all make sure we talk to each other. That's
100%. 100%. Cool. Next question, Miss Lisa. How have buyers and sellers changed over the years?
I think buyers and sellers they're pretty much have stayed the same, but it's more of an instant gratification. I think because of technology, because of emails, because they have our cell phone numbers, it's you haven't answered me in 5 minutes. What's going on? I need my fees, which we can appreciate. But that's, I think they're just a little more, I don't want to say needy, for lack of a better term. They want your attention right away.
Right.
Yes. And I agree. Like it's called the squirrel kind of mentality, like squirrel, like whatever's like kind of like you want things done right away, but it takes some time. So I totally understand where you're coming from.
Right. And I would even say for like buyers and sellers, it most might be even like an anxiety thing, right? Like you're like, again, it's the biggest purchase of your life. You're probably like, did I do this wrong? Did I do this right? It's just, there's so much to know.
And on the seller side, it could, be their retirement fund.
Right,
They're selling their house for their retirement. They're needing to move on, in the next phase of their life. And we appreciate that and understand that as well. So come on.
I think we should.
So as we move to our next topic of conversation, we're going to dive into the stories from the closing table. So this is going to be a little more of a fun one. I would love if you could share just a couple stories with us. But the first one I have for you is, what is one transaction that you know for a fact you will never forget?
One transaction that I will never forget would probably have to be, and it's not really a great one, but it's like a serious one. It was an ugly, ugly divorce situation. Ooh. Not that you want to hear that, but it was a situation where the husband did not want the divorce or want to sell the house. Oh. So we had to get the courts involved for sure. When the notary went to go meet him there, he was sick, dying in bed, but had his phone recording the notary saying he was being forced to sign. Whew. So we had to go to Plan B and petition the courts to have an appointed signer for him.
So
got it done, closed the escrow, and everybody moved on their way. But that was definitely work for about a week.
I can see how that one would be very memorable. Yes. I know divorce is never fun, and especially the ones that are as I guess you could say pulling someone's teeth, right? Yes. In that regard is definitely tough. So it's hard to stay professional sometimes in those environments, and I know that a lot of people have empathy for each other, and it's hard to see someone go through that, but it's even harder when someone is dragging their feet.
Exactly.
So I understand that fully.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess on the flip side of that, what's the funniest or most unexpected situation you've encountered during closing?
Unexpected situation that we've encountered. We've kind of seen everything from A to Z over the last 34 years. I've seen it all. One of the funnest ones was when we handled the transaction for MC Hammer's house. So that was
That's really
cool. You can't touch this.
So that was a kind of...
All right, sorry, dad joke.
We'll take it. The unexpected part was when we went to view the property before, when they got the pre-sale open and we're listing it, and he was actually there. It was after his heyday, but he was there. So that was a little unexpected treat to kind of meet somebody famous, through that transaction.
That's amazing. And I know MC Hammer has Fremont ties and East Bay ties, but I can imagine all the other lives you've touched along the way. So whether you're MC Hammer or just your first home buyer, just the impact that escrow officers have is tremendous. And just hearing hearing these stories, oh my God, I'm in awe. So, Michael.
And I was gonna say too, it's crazy that, being what we do and how many people don't even know what escrow is. That you get the chances to meet someone like MC Hammer. That's pretty cool. That's not a lie. That's actually pretty cool. I'm sure there's tons of other people, that a lot of the escrow officers throughout the East Bay have had the opportunity to work with. I'm sure some a little bit more quiet than others, but I think that's such an awesome opportunity to get to really go out there and experience things that a lot of people don't really get to see. That's kind of cool.
Something fun to add to the job.
So the next question that we have for you is, what's the biggest challenge you've helped solve in a transaction? Be either recently or maybe a little bit longer ago, but maybe something that was a real hurdle that was taking place and you had to really, strap up those bootstraps and get to solve the problem.
So we had one situation where it was 3 successor trustees for their deceased parent. And through the transaction, 1 successor trustee passed. As we move along 2 weeks later, the second successor trustee passed. And at 2 days before we're supposed to close escrow, the third successor trustee passed.
Wow.
And hadn't signed yet.
Oh no.
So we had to rush that whole process, request copies of the death certificates
Wow.
on an emergency basis, really petition the coroner's office to work with us.
Yeah.
We ended up, there was a fourth successor trustee in there, got that one approved within 24 hours,
Are
had
they
that
still alive?
party signed. That party was still alive.
Okay, good.
Yes. Had that party sign on behalf of all of it once that they were approved, and we were able to close with only 1 day delay.
Wow.
So we pulled that one out of the hat for sure.
Wow. Magicians in
Yes.
here, I guess, at escrow, because that's kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know if the house was maybe cursed or something,
I know.
but I'm glad that everyone got out of it. At least one person
Exactly.
did.
Yes.
And none of them passed in the house. So that was a good thing, So the buyers were still able to get their moving truck going and into their new home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So,
crazy.
and I think part of, on the heels of that is we don't always tell the stories of how much work we've done on the
Right.
back end
Right.
to get you to the finish line. We like to make it smooth and seamless for all parties, but sometimes the work that the escrow staff puts in
Mhm.
is over and above, and it's just to make you guys shine as the agents.
Right.
So
And that's why I'm really happy that you guys were so willing to do this with me today,
Mhm.
because it really gives people the opportunity to see the perspective of where you're sitting in the industry
Mhm.
and how many strings
Yes.
actually have to be pulled behind the scenes.
yes,
Because even to this day, for some of the brokers you go into, especially like you guys said for the new agents, people don't even know what escrow is.
Yes.
And you guys are so involved and so important in the process. And like I said, I'm just really happy that you guys were able to join me today. It makes it really fun.
yes,
That'd
of
be-
course,
Yes.
fun day.
So, in addition to agents possibly watching this, there could be some escrow agents watching this. So, by the way, we are looking for good talent now.
Yes,
Always.
join
So,
our
yes,
team.
come apply. But
We're
what
a good time.
exactly? So, what are some lessons you've learned from handling thousands of closings?
Lessons that we've learned: don't believe everything you hear or you're told, because
Mhm.
that's one of the things. Always ask more questions than you really need to. Again, more knowledge is key. The more you know, the better. And don't assume your clients are in the country right now.
That's the biggest one that I've seen, man. I can't tell you how many
One of the
people are
lessons,
like,
yes.
let's go on vacation, right? When
Exactly.
you're about to sell your house or buy a
Yes.
house or whatever it is.
Uh-huh.
Thank God for mobile notaries.
Yes.
And thank God for you guys being
Mobile
able to
notaries
coordinate
and-
those people.
The new process with the remote online notarization.
Right.
We've had to pull some strings to get some of those approved, but we do them and we make it happen. Yeah.
I mean, you got to, right? I mean,
Yes.
it's just the day and age. I think everybody is really obsessed with the now.
Mhm.
And urgency is everything. So I'm really happy that we're able to accommodate those clients, the way that we need to.
hmm
That's like the biggest thing.
Yes.
So we'll do a quick cut. All right, we
I
want.
think so. For me, looking
So next, we're going to jump into advice for real estate agents, which I think will be a fun one. Again, just from your perspective in the market and your perspective from where you sit with all these deals going on, having the opportunity to give some people some advice that will help them be better as agents, I'm sure can be very appreciated, especially if it's something that you can't see yourself. And I think that's the best part about doing these types of interviews is being able to see a third-party perspective on things. And for me, that's the most refreshing perspective because that's going to be the most honest perspective. And I think everybody needs some honesty every now and again. So the first question I have for you is, what advice would you give every real estate agent working with escrow?
Review your pre.
That's a
Review
good one.
your pre.
Yes.
Or read our pre-review when we send it to you. A lot of times, if there's Joe Smith and Mary Smith is no longer with us, we haven't been informed of that. So we've had actually on more than one occasion went through the whole transaction expecting two people to come in and sign, and only the wife or only the husband because the other party was no longer with us.
Right.
So that changes the whole scope of things. Review the pre, communicate with us clearly, efficiently, always. Give us more information than you think we need because trust me, we need it from you
Always.
to do that. And let's think, trust us. Trust that we're doing the job
Yeah,
for you.
that's
That's one of the things when you're building your relationship with your escrow team. Trust that we're doing everything for you behind the scenes and that we will get it to the finish line with no issues.
Right.
Yes.
99.9% of the time.
Yeah.
So it sounds like you guys need to do your homework, okay? So please don't let it all rely on the escrow team. Please do your due diligence. And again, If you kids can review that prelim, as Lisa said, that'll help us out a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think questions are key, right? Like you said, like a part of that communication is going to be questions. And the one thing I've learned being a salesperson in an escrow world is there's never a dumb question because there's always a question
Yes.
about
Yes.
everything.
There's never
So,
a dumb question.
I love that so much. And like I said, I think it's so important just from like a sales perspective, right? Like putting my sales hat on here for a second. That's why I always try to make the effort to make sure that our clients, especially our newer clients, get the opportunity to meet the escrow officers they're going to work with. I think being able to connect with somebody and get to know them just a little bit helps with that trust, right? Because if they have less anxiety because they know who you are, they've had the opportunity to talk to you, they understand your background, and a big reason, like kind of like why we're doing this, right? Kind of gives them the opportunity to kind of let go a little bit more, but let go in a way that's like trusting. Like, I know you guys got this. I know what my part is in this.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Yeah,
right?
hand it off to us and let us take it.
Right.
If we need you, we'll let you know. But we've got you covered for sure.
I love that.
Cool. So I got the next question. Lisa, what can agents do to make the escrow process smoother for everyone involved?
You're going to hear me say it again.
Yep.
Communication, communication, communication. That is probably one of the key things that is sometimes missing in the transaction. We need to know. We need to know anything and everything there is. If your client just remodeled within 30 days, we need to know that. We need to make sure that those bills are paid. So we're not hitting the buyer with anything that can potentially happen after. If your parties are traveling, we need to know. Again, if there's a deceased party, we need to know. Anything. I mean, the more information you give us, the easier it is for us to get it.
Great. There's no such thing as over communication, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So again, never assume. Let us know. The more information that we have, the better it is, so that we don't have to guess or kind of like fill in the blanks.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
No over communication.
The other thing too, just as like a sub question to that, because I know communication has really been the theme of today's episode with you guys. With that, do you mind any kind of preferred communication? Like, does it bother you if agents want to be texted or anything like that?
No, not at all. And I'm always happy to answer the calls or texts on the weekends and after hours, because we know that you're not always sitting in front of your computer and your hours are definitely different than ours. So we're there for you. That's our jobs. That's our role in the whole process. Call, text, email, whatever you prefer. We're easy. We all work, together in this to get to the same goal. However you need to make that happen, we're there for you to do it that way.
I love that too, because again, it's one of those things that I tell a lot of my clients is like, I need to be working when you're working.
Exactly.
Right? Like, I understand that
100%.
you have to do open houses Saturdays and Sundays, but if you need a quick question, I'm going to try and find it for you. And if it happens to be Saturday afternoon, I might not get back to you immediately, but that I will get back to you. You know what I mean? And I think that's the biggest thing is, like you said, I'm sure if the agents could speak through the phone to us right now, they'd probably say something similar of communication. Because they also want to know, right?
Yes.
So I'm totally
Well, and we get it. I mean, your seller doesn't want to wait until Monday for an answer when we get back in the office. So, I mean, call me, text me.
Right?
Yes.
Even if it's not my transaction, I can help you.
Right. Let me
I
help
can
you.
totally help
Yes.
you. I've been doing this a long time.
I love that. Right. We are on to the next one. So this is be a kind of an interesting one. What separates, in your perspective, what separates the top producing agents from the average agents when it comes to managing those transactions?
So the top producing agents clearly have a strong team behind them. That's why they're at. That's why they are where they're at.
Right.
And they kind of manage their escrows in a like a project manager. They're on top of their initial deposits. They're on top of their contingency periods. They're on top of, when the loan appraisal is getting done. They're on top of all the key things. A lot of the newer agents, and I understand that you don't always have a transaction coordinator when you're coming fresh out of the gate.
True.
But if you made yourself a little checkoff list or get one from a seasoned, agent in your office, like, what are the key things I should be looking for? Where are my milestones? Where do I need to be checking in throughout the transaction? The top agents also, again, clear communication with their buyers and their sellers. They let them know what to expect and when to expect that.
Right.
A lot of the new agents, because they haven't been through the escrow process yet, don't really know what's coming next and how to explain it to their client. So we don't have a problem jumping in and helping your first time buyers, the first time agents. We actually love to help that part of it.
Yeah.
Guide them along the way, show them, our experience and help them through the transaction.
No, that's awesome. I love that you shared that because I think that, again, that's as agents, especially like speaking to more of the newer agents, it's so important to understand who's really good at this business, especially in your brokerage, and who's willing to teach you things.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
And like as new agents, some of the most important things you can learn, in my opinion, from like the more experienced agents is, again, the talk tracks of how to navigate certain conversations, how to juggle all the things that it takes to juggle to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of misconceptions even with that, where a lot of people feel like they get their license, it should be easy.
Yeah.
I should just be able to hop right in.
Yeah.
I see my office mate over here, they get calls all the time about stuff.
Yes.
But again, it's not seeing the behind the scenes of what it took to get there.
So
So always work with people like collaboration is key. Everybody has something really positive and something that could really help benefit yourself if you're willing to just talk with people around you.
100%.
And as agents, you shouldn't be shy. Let's be real.
exactly. I mean, that's,
Let's be real.
Yes.
we do.
And then going back to the top producing agents, it sounds like they are a well-oiled machine, right? Like they have everything in place. Everyone has their part to play. And that's kind of like your team, right? Like Lisa works with not only herself, she works with an amazing team. Not only in the office, but her and her escrow assistants, they just work together seamlessly.
Yeah.
And you can't say that for everyone. But Team Brazil is one of a kind. And when you work with them, oh my goodness, you will just see, I call it the X Factor. She has the X Factor. She and her team, they have the X Factor. And you just, I don't know, I can't put it into words, but when you work with them, you just have this I feel assured that I am in the good hands, and that's why Lisa has recurring customers and clients over the years because they trust Lisa and her team.
It's not even just that, right? Just touch on it even more is Lisa's team has to be excellent because she's also now in Pleasanton too, right?
Yes.
It's hard to leave, the people that you trust in Fremont to get the job done for you when that time happens. And being able to kind of come out to Pleasanton and kind of grow here too. It, like you said before, it takes a village.
It does take a village. And
Takes a village.
I'm fortunate enough to have my assistant, Nadia, has been with me for 20 years now.
Wow.
And Lila has been with us for 6, and we work together so seamlessly. You don't even know when one of us is missing. I hate to say it like that, but we can all jump in and do everything there is to do on a transaction. You wouldn't really know if it's me doing it, Lila doing it, Nadia doing it. I do oversee everything that's happening on the desk and make sure, the clients are taken care of. I am absolutely the face of the team, but the team themselves, they support me like no other. I mean, I could not, like Michael said, I could not be doing what I'm doing here in Pleasanton and handling operations team as well without Nadia and Lila. I could not.
The proof is in the pudding.
Yes, exactly.
And I'll also
if
say,
you
like
work
I said,
with them, you know what I'm talking about.
The proof is in the pudding, and like I said, for me and Don, it makes our lives easy.
Yes,
it's
100%.
it's easy selling a real product and a real person and a real team that just wants to do the best they can and has proven time and time again that they do the best they can.
Yeah, and they do.
Yeah,
Yes,
no, I totally believe in that. I love that. That was actually
They rock.
really
They rock.
All right, we're gonna do a quick cut.
Love that.
Come on. We talked so long, the remote disconnected.
I'm like,
You're
so
just gonna hear me say, listen.
because I just
And
really want to hear these stories.
Right.
I think when Michael kind of brought me on board, you can't everything's in here, and we want people to kind of, hi again, you're recording. Exactly.
So it's like, do we really want to put that out there?
No,
The things we used to be able to do, but we can't.
Right.
As far as stories go, no, I mean, there's a million stories about,
we can go on and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just do
hi again.
later, but just
Okay.
keep that in the back of your mind if there's something that you feel like is a good
I know
question.
the question for
You
the
got it?
next question.
Okay, perfect. Then
What brought you to Old Republic Title?
There
And
you
why
go.
did you stay?
That's
And Why are
perfect.
you still here?
That's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And then
perfect.
that can talk about the company as a whole.
All right. So again, thank you guys again for joining me. I do have a closing question for you, Lisa. If every agent listening could just remember one thing about escrow, what would you want it to be?
I think that the agents need to remember that we're here to help make you guys shine. I think you guys need to make sure, lean in on us to help get these transactions done, to help communicate with your buyer and your sellers. It's one of our greatest pleasures to watch a first-time buyer get into their new home.
So true.
To watch a retiring couple selling their property to go move closer to their family who moved across the country. Let us be part of their journey, and know that we're doing our best always for you, for them, to get you closed on time as per your contract, and to make sure it's a memorable and enjoyable process for everybody. I think a lot of escrow officers out there treat their transactions transactional, meaning check the boxes and move on. We like to treat ours as a relationship.
Right.
It's relationship building, because that buyer is then going to sell sometime to move on to their next home. They want to use somebody that they trusted already, which is us as the escrow team and you as the agent.
Right.
So I think that's what I want them to take away, is that the escrow should be a relationship building tool for the future, and to lean in on us. We're here as part of your team to get the transaction closed.
Yes, and I think the key word is relationship, and Lisa has built a lot of relationships. I think there are too many stories to kind of like go over here.
Too many
But
stories.
I think the weaving line through everything is just the impact and the relationship she's created over the years.
Well, and the clients become friends.
Yes.
You know,
I
I
love
mean,
that.
they,
Oh, man.
our babies are growing up together. I've been pregnant with a few clients together.
Right.
I've been at their weddings. They've been at my wedding. It's just, it's been a long time, process.
Well, it's like being a part of our community, right?
Yes,
Like you get to see
absolutely.
and bring someone new into your community, which I think
Yes.
is such a big thing. And the other thing I really love that you said is you're there to help spotlight the agents, right?
Mhm.
Like we want them to shine too.
Yeah.
And that's, a big play of getting that repeat business for a lot of agents is having a good process and having a memorable experience.
Exactly.
And escrow definitely plays a role in that.
Yeah.
So before we let you go, I got one other thing with this series. I'm trying to do something a little bit different, a little bit more fun. And I wanted to ask you if you had a question for the next guest I'm going to bring on. I'm going to write it down when you tell me,
Okay.
but I want to kind of pass the questions down the line. I think it'd be a fun way again to, leave your stamp on this interview today and also pass it to the next person that comes
Yes.
on.
Actually, I have a great question. Since I've been with Old Republic for 34 years,
Yup.
I'm a lifer here. Started my career here as a receptionist. I'm now in management and in admin, moved up the ladder. But I'd like to know what brought you to Old Republic Title, and why are you still here?
Ooh,
What
Love
makes
that.
Old Republic your home?
love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
exactly.
life. It's what you've experienced. So.
Right, and it just seems like the whole point is it's genuine as all hell.
Yes,
and that
and
is
we're
what I
on recording
love.
again. I'm gonna
She
turn it.
didn't even.
So now that we have gotten the entire peek behind the curtain as far as escrow is concerned, Dawn, I thought it'd be fun for us to have some questions for you too, since you did make the effort to come out here.
Yes.
Oh no, now I'm on the hot seat. No.
But
Yeah.
I figured that we could kind of relate. I know that every market has like its own microclimate, so I
Okay.
thought it'd be really interesting to hear what the major differences are that you could share with Fremont, and then also share with Pleasant and Livermore.
100%.
So the first one that I have here is what's one thing about Fremont real estate that surprises people?
I think one thing that surprises people is a lot of people assume Fremont's like this bedroom community where it's sleepy. It's not going to be like a bustling nightlife, but it is where a lot of families are. They raise their children, and there's a lot of places to kind of see, do, and eat, and it's beyond the schools. I think Fremont, the first thing people think about is their schools.
Yes.
But it goes beyond that, and the fact that when I talk to agents and they get so invested in their neighborhoods, there's a lot to kind of explore, and that's, I would say, is the one thing that surprises people, just the vast amount of history and the vast things that you can do in Fremont.
Speaking to Pleasant and Livermore, I think just again the markets are just so different everywhere you go.
Agreed.
I
From
would
an escrow
say-
standpoint too,
Yes.
doing them in both
Yes.
areas.
And the people are so different. I would just say that I think if I'm going to speak for, I'll speak for Livermore and Pleasant, I guess. For Pleasanton, I think the biggest thing that surprises people is how different every community actually is. There's so many different communities here in Pleasanton. If you go to like Birdland, you have like the older, upper middle class, right? You can go all the way to Val Vista where things are just totally different. There's a lot more renters over there, and it's so funny to see like our melting pot community really come together. And I think one of the biggest surprises as of late too is downtown Pleasanton, honestly, is really trying to make the effort to get more people out, get more people to show up, which, ultimately affects everybody, buyers, sellers, agents, everybody. And I don't know if any of you guys have been lucky enough to go, again, the fair. Abbey County Fair is great. Downtown, shuts down the main strip down here for like the car shows and things like that. So I think being able to see the community and get opportunities to connect with the community, I think really surprises people here in Pleasanton. And then speaking for Livermore, the biggest thing I would say is Livermore is a little bit more, I would say like a family real estate feel.
Yes.
Like it seems to be like, I'm not to say that Pleasant doesn't have a lot of family real estate teams, because they definitely do. But I would say that Livermore makes it feel like, hey, like we are the residential local real estate agents. And the communities again are just so much more different. You have like Springtown, for example, which is kind of turning into that first time home buyer field, right?
Yes.
And then you go all the way back towards like the vineyards and the wineries, and it's one of the most beautiful high-end communities that there is. And just like you touched on with schools, like people love the schools in the East Bay. The school systems in both Livermore and Pleasanton are absolutely phenomenal. It's the one thing I hear more than anything, being a sales rep out there, is how great the schools are in the community. So I love that. Again, I think it's fun. I think good to see the differences in the market. It's just so different everywhere you go. 100%. I love that. Cool. You want to ask this one?
Yes. So Michael, what's the biggest misconception about escrow today, in your opinion?
So keeping it to the territory, it's hard to kind of say. It's definitely a different viewpoint as sales executives opposed to escrow officers. So, because escrow to us, I feel like is a little bit different.
Yes.
Escrow to us is about being able to go out there and connect our amazing escrow officers with the right people. And if I would say misconceptions, I would probably say the biggest misconception is everyone thinks everything is so perfect. And I think that when some agents, like you said before, like kind of don't do as much communication as you need them to be, and even vice versa, like you guys don't get the chance to kind of communicate with the agents all of the things it took to get this cookie cutter deal done.
Yes.
And that to me is the biggest misconception, especially here in Pleasant and Livermore. And kind of we even touched on earlier was how people just leave the country a lot when they're buying, selling, even some of the agents sometimes. And everyone has a right to their own personal life, and I get it, man. If you can go enjoy your vacation, go enjoy your vacation. It just goes to show how much confidence you have in your escrow officers. But again, that to me is the biggest misconception, is that everything is perfect. And that's a big reason why I wanted to do this series, because it kind of gives you a little peek of, we do a lot to make things polished for our agents, for our clients, for our buyers, for our sellers, but there are so many things going on behind the scenes.
Yes.
And that to me, I think would be the biggest one.
Can I tell you guys my biggest misconception? And again, don't judge me on this.
No judgment.
I mixed up escrow, like when you have taxes and stuff, with going into escrow.
Got it.
Right.
So it wasn't when I entered this field, I'm like, oh, you can use that term like in both ways, like going into escrow and filing your paperwork and closing on your deal, which agents do. Plus, I, as a homeowner, when I, split together, I have an escrow account. I was like, oh my goodness, there's two. Okay, so if you want to talk about misconceptions, that's me. Whoopsies.
And like I said, man, like as sales executives, there's just so many different terms and things to know. And again, I wish I had 34 years of experience to speak on all of it, but that's the beauty of having you guys. And like you said, as a sales executive, there is no dumb question.
There is no dumb question at all.
Except when you think something, we use the same term for both. But anyway.
Okay, so for you, Don, in Fremont, what is one prediction you have for the future of the industry in your territory?
Ooh. Okay, let's do that hot topic, that everyone's talking about right now. It's AI, right? Is AI going to change and everything? And I think just in relation to the real estate industry, it can. Real estate's all about relationship building. Yeah. It's all about like that people-to-people contact, and AI, as much as I love AI, these guys will tell you, it will not replace what we do, what you do. Yeah. It's just, it can't. It can't. What'd you say, Michael?
So, I would also say AI is definitely the biggest hot topic right now. But I would also say, from just like an escrow perspective, again, since we've been talking with Lisa for so long, I got my escrow hat on. Is just the processes, right? Like the future is coming and it's already here.
Mhm.
And the processes are only going to get more smoother. It's only going to get easier for you and your clients. It's only going to be more communication. Like you said,
Yes.
can't replace relationships, and nothing is better than being able to call your escrow officer when you have a question. But I would also ask you, wouldn't it be great to have the answer before you ask the question?
Yeah.
Ooh.
And I think that's where the industry is going to be heading. I think with AI,
Mhm.
and again, combined with the levels and years of experience
Yeah.
that you have, you're going to be able to answer questions before they even had come out of an agent's mouth, a buyer seller's mouth, and all those things. And even speaking behind the scenes, there is some sneaky peek things coming here at Old Republic Title
Ooh.
Yes,
that
there
might
is. We're
really
super
help
excited.
with a lot
Super
of those
excited.
processes. And I think it's really going to set the tone and set the
Yes.
bar for the rest of the industry.
Agreed. I couldn't agree with you more. And I think it's going to allow us as the escrow teams to be more forefront with the clients, be more relational instead of transactional. The AI can do the processes in the background for us. You know, they can handle, just like our computers do now, the calculations of the money and then this and then that. And it's going to allow us to have those conversations with the buyers, with the sellers, with the agents, and not tie us to the desks
Love that.
so much.
I love that. Like I said,
Yeah.
the future is coming. It's already
It
here.
is.
and
We're
it's-
so excited.
Yeah.
So excited.
It's pretty crazy.
Okay. So the next question I have, and I'm going to skip around because I want to get the juicy question.
Oh,
okay?
do it.
Well, what are some of the biggest challenges Fremont agents Pleasanton and Livermore agents face in today's market?
I mean, this is what I'll say. I think this market is, and it has been, one of the toughest markets in real estate over the last several years. There's no sugarcoating that.
Yes.
I would also say that, and this is going to sound pretty controversial, I think, to be honest, but this, to me, a lot of people look at this market as a challenge, right? Like, this is a challenge. Everything's hard. We get it. The most important thing to me, and the biggest thing I would say, is if you're a new agent, you have such a leg up on everybody right now. You are getting experience in the most challenging market we've ever seen in the United States. And if you can get with not just using your resources like us to help you with like your farming data and kind of help you come up with strategies, using the people in your brokerage who have this insane amount of knowledge that have been doing this again for 30-ish years.
Yeah.
Well, and the reality of that too is we don't want to do it forever. So we want to be able to mentor the up and coming, agents, escrow officers, assistants, someone's going to have to take our place eventually.
Absolutely.
So
the challenges today is definitely the market in and of itself, and I know you touched this already, Dawn, but it's the relationships.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're somebody who's an agent in today's market, I know that people loved COVID and they loved the idea of having their phone ring, right? Like nothing is probably a better feeling in this world than being an agent, sitting on your couch at home for whatever reason, as you get a second to breathe and you can just answer the phone and someone's like, hey, I want you to use you as my agent. I want you to list my house.
Yes.
That probably happens few and far between in this market. So you really got to pound the pavement more. And that's why, again, I can't stress this enough. Meeting with your sales executives. The reason why this is so important, again, speaking from my own perspective in Livermore and Pleasanton, is data analytics and being able to understand probabilities and then being able to understand how to get in before everybody else is so crucial right now. Most of the most successful agents that you see in today's market are people that are religiously marketing themselves, and they do it in a smart, organized, strategic way. They're not just sending it to the entirety of the universe. They have a perfect idea of who their target market is, and they're appealing to those markets and coming in at the right time because the data suggests that. So I can't argue it enough. Use all your resources.
Yes.
And I'm not even saying, right. It's not just us though too. It's like, even if you're a newer agent, like you should really take the time to even meet with the lenders.
Yes.
The lenders have so many different promotions going on right now, and you would never know unless you go and speak to them.
Yes.
And these people would work just as hard as we do, if not even more so, because the market, if anyone's felt it the most, I would have to argue it's probably the lenders. So I guarantee you the lenders have come up with creative solutions. Different ideas. But if you're someone who's new or you're somebody who's like, I've used so-and-so forever, it never hurts to get a second opinion on anything.
anything.
That's just my own thought process. What
Can I
about you,
add
my
to
man?
it? Yes. I would say the biggest challenge is that mental aspect of everything. Like,
that's a good point.
we talked about instant gratification earlier, right? And like the fact that, we may not be getting that volume of closes like we have in the past.
Right.
You just got to get out of that funk. It'll come if you put in the effort.
Yeah.
If you learn everything now, as Michael said, this is a perfect time to learn and grow and do everything now, so that when the time comes and things turn around, you're going to be set up for success.
Yeah.
So I think the biggest challenge is up here,
Yeah.
in there somewhere.
It's
and
like
then,
it's almost like preparing yourself
Yes.
for what's coming.
100%.
Because the reality is the market cannot continue like this forever.
No,
Yes.
it can't.
Again, we have no way of we don't have a crystal ball here to be able to predict the time where it's going to pop, but eventually it will.
Yes.
And if you take the time to put in the right practices and right disciplines in place now, when the market turns, it's going to be a cakewalk for you. And you're going to be
set.
cashing in, man. You're going to be down the street in the new Bugatti.
There
You
you
can
go.
park it right out front of our office during that shutdown, right, of Main Street. So, like I said, I want everybody to win. I mean, that's just the way it should be, right?
Yes.
I want to
Winning.
see everybody win.
Yes.
Cool.
That was a good question, though. You really jumped into the juicy one.
Yes. Yeah.
Let me ask. What's one piece of advice that you would give a Fremont agent that you think a Fremont agent should hear? You could, whatever you think would be a good piece of advice based off your experience
Okay.
so far.
Yes. I know Lisa gave her take with what advice agents should hear. I would say for me, it's do your homework. I think some people think it's like a magic wand. They're going to make money, or they watch Selling Sunset. I watch it. And they think they're going to be, raking in the dough right away. And it takes time. This is a business, everyone.
Yeah.
You are a business owner.
Mhm.
You got to market yourself. You got to brand yourself. They have to know who you are.
Yeah.
And that's where we come along.
Yeah.
We are here to help guide your strategies and hold accountability, right? Because at the end of the day, your success is our success.
Yes.
And we want to make sure that we create long-lasting strategies that will help you be successful. And Michael, what would you say?
I mean, you hit the nail on the head, man. I think the biggest thing is making sure you remember this is a business.
Yes.
Right? I think sometimes people get caught up in the emotional side almost of being like, well, this is who I am. It is who you are.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But you have to make sure that you're operating as a business, right? I think from my own experience and doing a lot of one-on-ones and understanding people's cost analysis is something that I think is overlooked by a lot of agents. And the only reason why that is because they're not thinking of it necessarily as a business.
It's a business.
You want to make sure that you have things coming down the pipeline before you invest money in things,
Mhm.
right? It just goes with anything that you do. And that is the biggest thing advice I think I would give anybody as far as agents is if you don't have a budgeting plan in place and you're not
Make one,
looking at
yeah.
this as a business, you need to change your perspective on that. Sell yourself, but sell yourself as a business. This is
There you
a
go.
business.
Well, and the agents that are still around, again, from 34 years of experience,
Yep.
these are the agents that have weathered the storms in, when it was just the refi craze and the
Mhm.
houses weren't selling and then, everything exploded and was crazy and then it was down again, nothing was selling. If you've been able to survive all of these markets,
Right.
you're doing something right.
True.
So just stick with that, and just still do good business out there.
Right? Don't overcomplicate it,
Yeah,
so to speak.
exactly.
Necessarily. It's just once you figure out your systems and they work for you, just do
They work
them,
for you.
right?
Yeah.
And let the results come.
Well, and the same with, the escrow teams, Old Republic Title. It's for those of us that have been in the industry for this long and we've been able to weather those storms.
Yeah.
It's because of the relationships we've built with you,
Yeah.
as the agents out there.
So I think that kind of wraps it up.
Yeah.
But I want to ask Dawn too, just because I asked Lisa, what's another question that you would leave for the next guest here? You are a guest here today too, and I want to hear if you have any kind of questions. for
I
the next
do.
person
I
on.
do. So again, we can read a lot of things, our bios on our websites and whatnot, but let's get silly. What's one silly fact
I love that.
about you that you wouldn't be able to know from a website or whatever it is? Because at the end of the day, we talk about relationships, we talk about
Yes.
behind the curtains.
Yeah.
So what's one thing that people don't know about you that the audience over there should know?
Love
That's
that.
my
Fun
question.
facts. Fun
Yes.
facts.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys
I know.
both so much.
Yes.
I
Thank you for
really,
having
really
us, Michael.
appreciate you guys coming on and doing this with me today. If you really liked what you heard here today, again, please reach out to these guys. Their information I'm sure is going to be on the screen for you to see.
Yes.
But again, use us as a resource. We realistically want to take these moments and these times in today and using technology to connect with you guys,
Mhm.
to share. Not only are we professional, not only are we with the times, but we're trying to show you who we really are. We're trying to show you what actually takes place in these deals and the effort and the amount of time that really goes in to make this whole thing thrive. And like I said, I really think the two themes that I walked away with today was communication, but also it takes a village.
It does take a village.
And I think, like I said, I think as far as the villages are concerned, we have the coolest village
we do.
in the market, I will say.
We
So
do.
thank you guys so much.
And just to add in one thing too is all of us, like Michael said, are here to help you and guide you through the transaction, whether it's ours or not.
Right.
Relationships are everything in this industry, and it's a win-win for everybody when you expand your network and have more people to rely on and lean into.
Well, thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you next month. This is going to be a monthly series, so please tune in. Again, get to know the escrow officers that are making the magic happen behind the scenes. So thank you again. Talked again for too long. Hold on. Connect.